Hey, hi, how are you this evening or this morning? Welcome to Usually Wrong. This is episode number 66 with Dave Stewart. Dave Stewart is on this program today to promote a show that I am on this Friday, which if you're listening to this on Thursday night, is tomorrow at Arcade Comedy Theater. It's the Real Pittsburgh Stories. And it's just a couple comics telling stories, and it's always a fun time. Kayleigh Dumas is going to be on the show. A gentleman, I don't know his name. I could have looked this up, but I'm not going to do it. It'll be in the bio. And Terry Jones, who is a very funny comic in the city. Very great. Really looking forward to it. And Dave was great to talk to for about an hour, so enjoy Usually Wrong. Episode number 66 with Dave Stewart.
When we finally got down to something which the individual says he really wants to do, I will say to him, you do that and forget the money. Because if you say that getting the money is the most important thing, you will spend your life completely wasting your time. You will be doing things you don't like doing in order to go on living. That is, to go on doing things you don't like doing, which is stupid. Better to have a short life that is full of what you like doing than a long life spent in a miserable way.
What the hell was I thinking?
Oh, good, man. For sure.
Good? It's been a while. The last time I saw you was the last show. Where was that place in Bloomfield? That cool art house.
No, last time I saw you, we did Hand Bones with Mike about a month ago.
Oh, when? I don't even remember that.
Dude, I think we've done it once or twice in the last couple of months.
Is that true?
Yeah. And then I think
it goes in and out for me anymore.
Yeah.
People will say that. It'll be like, I'll be like, I haven't seen you in a year. It's like, no, we saw each other like a month ago. Oh, man.
and then I think that we did Chris Scriva's open mic at the Moose like a while ago.
Oh, yeah. Probably.
That was legitimately though probably 6 months ago.
That's it. I try not to remember the Moose.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
Anytime I go.
Chris Scriva moved to Chicago, man.
Yeah, Chris is gone.
Yeah, him and his girlfriend went, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
they're gone.
yeah.
They he posted something on Facebook. He's like 10 likes and I'm moving to Chicago. He
Yeah.
did. It was just a bit, but nobody knew
Yeah.
until like a couple days before.
Because her name's Elizabeth. Is his girlfriend?
Elizabeth, yeah.
She's a comic too, right?
I don't think
Or
so.
she does improv. I thought.
Oh, I don't know. I actually don't know. Improv probably.
Yeah.
I don't think she's a stand-up. I've
Okay.
never seen her do stand-up.
Okay.
But yeah, he's gone. Helen Wilde's going to Seattle. Do you know Peter Arsenal?
Yeah.
He's leaving. Keon, Ray, myself. I'm going to New York in about a month.
Oh,
too.
no kidding.
Yeah. So like right after that show, a couple weeks after. that,
Oh,
I'll be
okay,
gone,
man.
Too.
Okay.
Because when you messaged me to do it, I was like, oh, I don't know if I'll actually be able to do this because I'm going to be leaving, but it's going to be a couple weeks after
Yeah.
that, which is exciting. Are
Okay.
you Pittsburgh born and raised?
Well, you know where I'm from.
Are you from Natrona Heights?
Yeah.
That's right. We
Yeah.
talked about that day. I
Yeah.
forgot about that.
Yeah.
So you went to Highlands?
Yeah. So I was born in
Fuck, I'm
Allegheny
State
Valley.
Stewart. I remember that.
Yeah. I was born in Allegheny
Oh, I
Valley
could
General
talk about this
Hospital.
all day.
And then I graduated from Highlands High School in 2003.
Yeah.
So what's funny is that my friend Lindsay and my friend Lindsay, we've been friends for 21 years. And we were hanging out at her house. She bought a house in the Heights. I want to say she's like not far from those Heights ball fields. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, and she was married for a couple of years. She's now divorced, but she bought a house and moved back to the Heights. Okay. And something we always talk about is that Natrona Heights, that area, Natrona Heights, Brackenridge, Tarentum. Yeah. If for those listening at home, that's exit 15 off 28. Okay. It's the weirdest place to be from, but we don't know why. It's something so intangible. Like, it's just such a weird feeling to be from that area.
Okay, I'll give you an idea. Too much fast food.
That's
a big one for me.
You know
they
what?
tore down Heights Elementary and put up a Sheets, man. I can't.
hey, that's showbiz, dog.
It's
You know
wrong.
what I mean?
It's wrong.
Well, because that really shows you that area where there's such a decline
Oh, yeah.
in the population that they're able to tear down a school,
Yeah.
put a Sheets,
And
and
it's
there's
more
there's
successful.
like displaced kids anywhere.
Exactly. Yeah.
know?
I mean, I think Fawn is gone too.
Oh,
I think
Maybe
Fawn
it
is gone.
is Fairmount still active?
Yeah, Fairmount. So I
Okay.
think it's Fairmount, and they moved all the Fawn kids to Grandview.
That's where
I
I
could
went
be
to
wrong
school
about
actually.
that. You went to Grandview.
I went to Green Elementary School.
So what part did you live, like in Tarentum? Then?
So when I was a little kid, like aged like 2 to 8, we lived on 9th Avenue,
okay.
like 3 blocks down from the school.
Oh, okay.
So I could walk to school when I was like
Yeah.
7, which was kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I was 8, we moved to Natrona.
Yeah.
So I became as my school called a river rat. So I became
understand.
a river rat.
Yes.
Which, by the way, I'm taking it back. River rat for life. Okay.
You're sticking to it.
Yeah, sticking to it. But
Hashtag.
well, how about you?
Well, I moved to Highlands when I was in 4th grade.
Okay.
And I moved into the Heights.
Okay.
So that
From
was
where?
From Rochester.
New York or
PA,
Pennsylvania?
over by Beaver Falls.
Oh, you know, actually, when I played in a pop punk band called Talk About It, and we played with
About It.
2 different shows. Once we played with the Wonder Years, which is now like a huge
Wow.
band, and we played with this band called Transit. They're from Boston, cool dudes, at the Blue Violet Cafe in Rochester, Pennsylvania.
Is that true? It's a nice. I like the Beaver area.
Mm-hmm.
I grew up. I'm a big Beaver Falls.
I bet you
area.
do. I bet you love the Beaver area.
I do like the
Sorry,
Beaver
dude,
area.
That was the world's best setup. I dunked it. I had to just go for it, man. Sorry. Good.
My elementary school was Big Knob Elementary. Big Knob Elementary. I say that all the time. I tell a buddy that I went to Big Knob Elementary in the Freedom School District. Are you kidding me? That's stupid. That's so stupid. You know what I mean?
That's so good.
True.
Well,
it recently shut down.
Well, the laugh. That knob must have rusted. We always laugh about because I think the inaugural year of Highlands High School was, I want to say 68 or 9.
I think it was 69.
So, which is a very sexy year.
Yes.
But because it was the fucking 60s and everything was okay. Carson, our show.
Oh yeah. For
All
sure.
right, cool.
Oh yeah,
all right,
good.
all right, sure. All right. Because it was all earth tones and hippie shit. Our colors were, as you know,
That's
brown
funny,
and
brown
gold. And
Oh, weird.
it was just the worst colors ever.
Well, they are the worst colors.
Yeah. And like everyone always, you go to talk to people from, they went to Burrow. Yeah, you guys were like piss of shit. And they're like, you're not wrong. Like we didn't like them.
What is really fascinating about that school to me is how big the auditorium is, because it was designed for a school district that was triple its size.
Yeah.
And talk about an elementary school going
Yeah.
away. I mean, that school district's been, it seems like it's been deteriorating for a while. I did their, you'll appreciate this. They had a hypnotist every year for after prom, right? I don't know what your after prom
Oh yeah,
situation
we
was like.
were. When did you graduate from Highlands?
2012.
12. Okay, I graduated in 03.
Yeah.
So, our prom was legitimately really awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, and actually, I'm a DJ, so I DJ'd the Highlands prom this year.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I did homecoming as well in the fall.
Oh wow.
But this is the thing: is that like when
Mike Zyler typically does that.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. But I think the kids just wanted something different this year, which is totally cool.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I thought it was fun.
Yeah, give you good opportunity.
But for those that don't know, the Highlands prom they do it now, or they go somewhere different now.
Yeah.
But the Highlands prom, when we were in school and before that, was you had to be at promenade, which when you get in the line and you're announced with your date. That was at like 5 in the evening, maybe around 5 or so.
Right.
And then you had the photos, and they would do dinner, and then you had just dancing until so the prom didn't end till what, like 5 6 in the morning,
5 in the
right?
morning.
Yeah.
Well, let me go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, but like so, and a lot of people were like, "Oh, that sucks." But it's like, but you know, they use the entire bottom half of our school, and when I was in school, they would have like bubble hockey, foosball, arcade games, like inflatable stuff,
there was
a pool table one year.
Oh, really?
And then we had a magician one year. We had a hypnotist.
Yeah.
Then if like some kid in school had had a band, the band would play in the audion.
Oh, that's cool.
So like,
Well, did you ever see like old photos they did Battle of the Bands like in the 70s?
yeah.
Old photos.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you, I did their after prom 2 years ago. They couldn't find a hypnotist, so they were like, "What is somebody we can get?" I did 45 minutes at 4 a.m. for a bunch of sleeping children, and and that was 11 months into comedy, man. They wanted.
You did
like,
45 minutes, 11
It was
months
the worst
into
I've
comedy.
ever ate it. It was the worst I've ever eaten.
Well, that's like
It's hilarious
you know
now.
that's like you basically crammed about a year of open mics into one day.
No, that's not a year of open mics. That's 10 years of open mics.
It's just like
It was awful.
because something that like so. Whenever anyone says I want to do stand comedy, I always say, listen, it's not a matter of if you're gonna bomb, it's how many times and how bad.
Mhm.
And so I think that like the
Yeah,
fact
that's
that
a given.
the fact that you went and did 45 minutes, ate shit, and then kept going, dude, you're good.
Well, it's going to be a good story nonetheless. If it goes well, it had no chance of going
Yeah.
well. But if it did, that's great. But
Yeah.
if it didn't, which was inevitable, it's a good story.
Yeah.
I mean, I asked for 2 things a comic needs. One you don't even need. I asked for a bar stool, please, and a working microphone. What are the 2 things they didn't have? A bar stool and a microphone. I show up, I'm like, what in the world? I screamed at children with a water bottle in my hand for 45 minutes. It was the worst. They kept like trying to get me to say the F word. They were just like, say it. Like, I'm not going to do it.
That's amazing.
That would have been better than
Yeah.
what I did. I mean, it was the only crowd. 30% of them were actually sleeping
That's great.
because they were so tired.
That's
I was
great.
the only thing keeping them from going home and going to bed. That's it.
So was it more like, did you get heckled or anything, or they just didn't say
Heckled.
much? They got
No,
heckled?
it's like the kids that
Oh,
I
the
was
cool
afraid
kids.
of in high school. Yeah,
Oh, great.
those kind of kids just.
You know what? What's funny? I always think about like when it comes to like, oh, doing like a thing.
Nope, I just know
Yeah.
this goes to screensaver. And
Oh,
I'm
okay.
like,
When it comes to like bombing, I would rather get heckled or booed than have silence.
oh yeah, for sure.
I think that any feedback is good feedback, even if it's terrible and it makes you feel terrible. It's like, that's cool. Like you wanna boo me and get off the stage, fucker. Like that's
Yeah.
cool.
Well, no,
Just-
you're fighting for attention.
yeah.
So for a lot of it, to me, is just fighting for your attention.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a million times worse than
Yeah.
when somebody's on their cell phone. You're not gonna like a joke that's fine, but if you're on your cell phone, that's what bothers me. It's
Yeah.
like anything else was more interesting than
Yeah.
what's being presented to you, and that's on me. How long have you been doing stand up?
So this is what's funny is that
I know you took a break, right?
yeah, like a big one. So I started doing comedy in 2008,
Mm-hmm.
and I did it like for 2 years, and I went hard.
Okay.
Like I was doing like 3 or 4 open mics a month. I mean a week, a week, and then after about 6 months of just solid open mics, I started doing monthly shows at the Sphinx in Oakland on Atwood Street.
Mm.
So that was like my venue.
Yeah.
And so
Was it still like a tobacco lounge?
the hookah bar?
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
Was it?
Yeah. So when I started, which is gonna be an amazing segue. So when I started, it was me and the great Jeff Conkle,
Mm-hmm.
who by the way he married Jerry, who went to high school with me, graduated with me from high school.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so it's so I thought that was funny that like
Yeah.
So I saw Jeff at Hambones. I was like, hey man, you married a classmate of mine. But it was me, like Jeff Conkle, who he had been kind of proven for a while at that point.
Yeah.
The great Mo Mozich, hysterical. Gabby Bonesso,
Yeah.
who's still going strong, hilarious. Davon Magwood. Actually,
I don't know.
Me?
I don't know.
I think Davon's kind of been. He's been like busy with like kids and stuff. You know what I mean? But like, Davon did. He's a funny dude, and he did a lot of shit.
Yeah.
And then I started out, and about a year or two after, Terry Jones,
Yeah.
who will actually be performing with me and Nate
And myself.
on August 9th at Real Pittsburgh Stories.
I'll plug it hard at the beginning too.
Absolutely. But we all kind of like had a venue where we did shows, which was really neat. So it was like I was at the Sphinx. So my first time ever doing stand up was Mo Mozich hosted LOL Mondays at the Shadow Lounge East Liberty.
Okay.
Okay. And that venue now is sadly gone, but it was
Yeah.
a great spot. Though.
Yeah, I don't even know.
And then Gabby did the Brillo Box.
Yeah.
And we just kind of went to all the open mics, and then people would book shows, and so
similar to how
how it is now. And it was a lot of fun. And then, but things I always really, really, really wanted to be in a band and like play shows and do that.
You wanted to be in a band.
Yeah, that was like what I always wanted to do. And
What do you play?
I play guitar mostly, and I can play like
You look like a
bass
guitar player.
Thank you. Well, usually, what's funny is it's cool you said that, by the way. For those listening at home, I am a large brown man. Okay. Most times when I say to someone I play guitar, they always say afterwards, "Oh, like bass."
They say that to you.
Yeah,
That's funny.
almost
You
every
look
time.
like a guitar player.
Almost every time they're like, "Oh, like bass," and it's because I'm black.
Oh, that's funny.
It's
That's
just
pretty
like-
funny.
Which I think is really that is funny to me. But every time, and like, so then when I call people out on it, they're like, I just think it's funny. But whenever I'm like, "Oh, why do you say bass?" And then they have to be like, "It's because you're a black dude."
Oh,
and I'm
that's
like,
hilarious.
"Yeah, it's really. I think it's really
That's
funny."
hilarious.
So I started a band with my friend Lee called Talk About It.
Yeah.
And we had been for 3 years, and then I spent a year. Then Lee moved away, and then in the time when Lee moved away and the band stopped until I started playing another band, I spent 5 years playing. I spent 5 years refereeing roller derby for.
You got paid to referee roller derby?
It was volunteer.
Okay.
It was volunteer, but I refereed roller derby for Steel City Roller Derby.
Oh, wow.
Previously called Steel City Derby Demons.
I have no idea.
Yeah.
No idea.
Yeah. So I did that for 5 years. They're still a league.
Yeah.
They play the the Cheswick Indoor Sports Arena.
Yeah.
And they're all awesome people.
How do you get into something like that?
Well,
I mean, like, what do you do?
as far as playing or reffing.
Well, how do you get into reffing?
Okay. So, something that I really do, I believe in like wholeheartedly. I have a couple of the rules I live by. Like today, I made sure I was on time. Like to me,
10 minutes early.
Yeah,
too. I want to say that.
You show up on time and you say yes to things.
Yeah.
Okay. And so I was dating this girl named Beth, and she and her friend John had a friend who played for the Erie Roller Girls up in Erie, Pennsylvania.
Okay.
And
She was on that team.
one of their friends were.
One of her friends.
Yeah.
Okay.
So one of their friends was on that team. So they were going to go to the game, and they used to play at Romp and Roll in Glenshaw.
Okay.
So obviously, me and Beth are dating, so she had to do it and go. I was like, yeah, I'll go, sure. And I went, and I just thought it was awesome.
Yeah.
It was just like I just saw the movie Whip It with Ellen Page.
That's funny. Yeah.
And this was very different because that movie wasn't very accurate as far as how roller was played or anything.
You're the only person who knows that. I love that.
Yeah, and but I went and like just like the players had like cool names, so you could like make up a derby name.
Okay.
Like my friend Jen is Bone Crusher, and she's incredible, and there's my friend Jen, my other friend Jen, there's like 1,000 Jens. My other friend Jen is actually currently playing in Jacksonville, Florida, with Aaron Jackson, who was on the Olympic speed skating team.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah. So the Aaron Jackson, one of the best speed skaters in America,
Wow.
is a woman who plays World Derby in Jacksonville, Florida.
Wow.
Okay. And so she was snot rocket science. Snot rocket science. Yeah. And I saw there was referees.
Yeah.
Like guys on skates and striped shirts.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, that's rad. So I went and found a guy, ended up being my buddy Sean. And I was like, excuse me, I don't want to bother you, but whatever you're doing, I want to do it too.
You were doing this at the same time as a band, too?
No, my band was over.
Your band was done.
Yeah. So talk about it was done. I didn't have anything to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, hey, like, I want to do this too. And he's like, okay, Michelle. And he grabbed my friend Michelle. And I was like, I want a ref. And she was like, oh, okay, go to the website, fill this thing out, just email to us, and we'll get you set up.
Wow.
And she was like, later on, she was like, I didn't think I'd hear from you again. Because I guess a lot of people have been like, I want a referee.
What a ref.
But like,
A lot of people are wanting to referee rule. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
And so what they don't follow through.
They just don't follow through.
Dave Stewart follows through. So the next day, filled the thingy out, sent it in. I interviewed like that week just to make sure I wasn't crazy pretty much.
Yeah.
And then the next game, like I've only been to one game of theirs as a fan.
Wow.
The next game I was keeping score during like the game. So you start out, you do like a season as what's called an NSO, which is a non-skating official.
Okay.
They're unbelievably important to the game. Those people like keep score, keep time, track all the penalties, all that stuff. They're really important people.
And you have to, and things are happening really fast, too,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
You have to have a good eye.
You have to really know what you're doing. And then after about a season and a half, I started refereeing for what's called the B team. So just like junior varsity or varsity, roller derby leagues have like an A and a B team.
Okay.
So after about a season and a half, I started roughing on skates for the B team games, and then by my beginning of my third season, I was on the roster for what we call the A team, which is like the best players in the world. I mean, I've refereed players from San Diego, all over the United States, from Canada. Yeah.
That's fun.
Yeah, it was a really good time.
You have to have bits about some of that stuff.
It's just like it's this world that people don't know it exists. It's this world that like it's an international sport. It's now played on every continent except for Antarctica. So now every 2 years they do have a roller derby World Cup.
Yeah.
Every 2 years. The first one was in, I want to say, Toronto.
Okay.
About I think 4 years ago it was in Toronto, I believe.
Okay.
But hey, Google that one.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, there's there's USA and Canada and Italy and Germany and Japan sends a team, Brazil sends a team, Argentina.
That seems like something like Asian countries might be good at too. Like I could see that being a Russian sport.
Oh yeah.
I could see that being a Russian sport for sure.
Yeah. But it's a cool thing. It takes a lot of time, takes a lot of energy, takes a lot of money because no one's getting paid.
Oh yeah,
You know what I mean?
nobody's getting paid.
Yeah, no one's getting paid. In fact, the girls pay to play because
I bet.
It's like
And travel, like they're not gonna put you up.
Yeah. Well, I know that the home team pays for the visiting team's hotels. I think.
That's interesting.
I think, but other than that, I mean, think of it like playing hockey when you're a kid. Like there's like rink time and stuff. So
Okay,
it's like that. So you pay to have this facility so many
Right.
days a month or whatnot.
What got you out of that then?
It just like I just got a little older. Like as the saying goes, I got a little older, and after the first couple years I ref derby, I just like worked in a bakery.
You just worked in a bakery.
And it was like it was pretty chill. You know what I mean?
Around
and, like,
here?
Yeah, I worked for Loafer's Bread Company in Fox Chapel.
Okay.
And then I worked, I cooked, and I was the bouncer, and I cooked at Remedy in Lawrenceville
Okay.
for a while. And those jobs were so chill that I could always be like, hey, I need this Saturday off for a game. Okay.
Yeah. Right.
No big deal.
Yeah.
But then I got like a jobby job where
Jobby job.
I started working on the marketing team of the Pittsburgh Zoo and PPG Aquarium.
Oh wow. How'd you land that then?
I applied and just once again show up, say yes to things. I applied, sent in my resume. They interviewed me. I interviewed pretty well, I guess. And
What were you doing there then?
I was the event and wedding coordinator, actually.
Okay.
So my job was I sold rental space at the facilities of the zoo.
Okay.
I also sold like group sale tickets, like you get groups for a discount.
Mm-hmm.
I did that. And I also did like marketing stuff too, like as far as like helping to promote things and how to market it and whatnot.
Right.
And, but I personally oversaw probably 200 and something weddings in 5 years.
Okay.
And but then after a while it was just like I couldn't be asking for Saturdays off to go rough derby when I have to go and like be at a wedding.
Right.
And so it just made it so it's too hard to do.
So then how do you get back into comedy then?
There. So, at some point in this time, probably about 3 or 4 years ago, I did the Ham Bones open mic.
Oh, okay.
That Derek was hosting.
Was that there did Ham Bones start after you were done, after your break started? Like, was Ham Bones around in the first run of comedy that you had?
No. Like, it's like, yeah. I mean, as far as I knew, like, I never did, like, anything there.
Yeah.
So probably around, like, probably like 2016 or so, I did the open mic at Ham Bones. Just, I think I was, like, the 29th or 34th comedian, so it was like 11:30 night. Yeah,
I
totally.
think I did like 48 one night.
Yeah. And then I just kind of missed it. Like, just simple that I missed it. And I was like, I kind of miss doing comedy, man. And then
you did nothing in that time?
Not really. I mean, I think that I was always like writing jokes and like making memes.
Yeah.
I was always like making memes.
Are
or
all
like,
those memes yours?
Not all of them.
No,
but yeah. Like
yeah.
the ones that are clearly like a screenshot, it's clearly a screenshot from somewhere else.
Yeah.
But like a lot of times, like I made one actually with Roll Derby Girls.
Those are pretty good.
Yeah.
Everyone that you post is pretty good.
Yeah. So I was always like making memes and even just writing little jokes for Facebook that put little like, this person said, so forth, and make a little joke. And then I did I started watching that This Is Not Happening.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this show's great, and it's just telling
Love
stories.
it. Yeah.
And I like, to me, a lot of my favorite comedians in general are people that just tell great stories.
Yeah.
And so I was like, well, we should do that here. Why not?
Right.
And then I did the first Real Pittsburgh Stories 2 years ago in October, at Artisan Cafe in Garfield.
Oh, that's the place that we were at. Yeah.
So that was where we did the first one. Didn't know what would happen. It was me, Bone Crusher from Roller Derby, Jackson Pollock Boydum, who is a punk promoter in the area.
Right.
He does I think it's called Fine, I'll Do It Myself Promotions. Yeah, he's a great dude.
Fine, I'll do it myself.
I think that's what it was called. My friend Katie Powers, who is an amazing burlesque performer. She also does she's like a drag king.
Okay.
And she has this character named I always do it wrong. It'll come to me, but she does this kind of this hilarious like Yinzer character.
Yeah.
And it's amazing.
Like a burlesque show type of
thing. Yeah, kind of. She'll do like stuff with like the Blue Moon or something, or a different place, and do her character, and it's really funny.
Yeah.
And then I'm missing somebody. Then Brian. Oh, gee whiz, I forgot what's his name. It'll come to me. Brian, who actually also has a podcast in Pittsburgh, and he's a comedian as well.
Okay. And that was the first show you did again?
That was my first time like doing stand up in any way, doing kind of show in like years and years and years.
Yeah.
And people came out, which was nice. We had about 30 people in that little cafe.
That's great. Yeah, it's a small cafe. 30 people would be great.
That's why, like, I think that like comedy lends itself to a small space because
I agree with that.
You can fill it up faster, and so the comedian feels like they have a bigger audience than they do.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I'd agree with that.
Yeah, I mean, if we put, 20 20 people in this little conference room,
Oh, yeah.
it would seem packed.
It would be a good show.
Yeah.
It would be a good show.
Yeah.
Because I like the cramped spaces for
Yeah.
comedy. I don't like big spaces. That's why I think that room at Arcade, the second floor.
Yeah.
I think it's one of the best
Yeah.
spaces for comedy
Well,
ever.
Now you're 24, 25 years old. So like, did you? Because I like this because even though like we're not that far apart in age,
Yeah.
we're 9 years apart, but that's almost a decade.
That is nuts.
What got you into stand up and into comedy? Like what kind of?
Yeah. Always loved stand-up. Wanted to try it. I was working at it. I've told this a couple times on here, but I was working at an insurance firm called Northwestern Mutual, and you had to prospect, right? Like you had to get your own clients. So
Okay.
I sat down with Joe Marchi wanting to sell his parents.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I wanted to sell his parents' insurance because I knew Joe Marchi all my life, or most of it. He went to Blessed Sacrament.
Okay.
So I sat him down and was like, what are your parents up to? He's like, nothing. Anyway, I'm just starting to host this open mic at Hambones. You should come out to it. So I did, and then the next week I went up, and then I didn't stop. Yeah, that's my trajectory into stand-up. If I didn't try and sell Marchie's parents' insurance, I probably wouldn't be on this top-rated podcast.
That's so interesting. That's
Yeah.
so cool. I always love kind of talking to people about like, because I think that people always have interesting comedic influences as well.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Which I feel like I'm interviewing you. I'm sorry.
No,
It's like,
please
this is
do.
your
I like
podcast.
it.
But like,
I like talking about myself.
But like, so for me, I know that for me, like obviously, like I think growing up where I grew up, we grew up in this, kind of like as I say, like this super white ass suburb of Pittsburgh.
Oh, for sure.
I think that because of the friends I grew up with, I got exposed to like Monty Python, and like Kids in the Hall, which are my favorite. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
That I think if I had grown up, maybe even in a more diverse place, I wouldn't have had that influence of that. Like where Kids in the Hall kind of told me you can be as weird as you fucking want and go for it.
Did you feel like you could be weird in high school?
Yeah, I started getting weird in high school because my friends were all like, even though like I played football, I was actually like a very good football player in high school. I was also a big dork. So all my I didn't hang out with the football guys.
Yeah.
Even though like I was a good football player, they weren't my crowd.
Yeah. Well, I think that's now accepted more. The way that I perceive it is when you were going through high school, late 90s, early 2000s, I don't think you could. To me, it seems like you can't necessarily be a dork without getting like thrown in a trash, right? Or, you know what I mean?
Well, it also helps when you're 6 foot and 285.
That's
you know what
also
I mean?
true as well.
Yeah. But like
you weren't wearing suspenders.
No, nothing
Seriously,
like that. No. But for me, so growing up in my family, we're all very mixed. So like my family, you got some black folk in there, some white folk in there.
Yeah.
You got some Jewish people in there too. You got some Scottish, some German. It's all in
Right.
there, you know what I mean? So, and my mom was really supportive of like whatever I was doing.
Oh, that's great. Yeah.
Very much like, oh, you want to play guitar? Here, I'll buy you one. Go learn how to play. You know what I mean?
Damn, yeah.
Like, oh, you like this? Here, let's do it. You know?
Right.
So when she knew that not that I was really into comedy, but that I liked like funny jokes. I liked jokes. She like totally supported that in every way. So when I was like 12, she gave me a cassette tape. Remember those?
I remember cassette tapes. I recorded a couple good mixtapes on cassette tape.
But she gave me a cassette tape of Eddie Murphy's Delirious.
Okay.
And I actually still own it. I have it taped to this day. And I listened to that thing a good 1,000 gajillion times.
Oh, yeah.
Because that's probably like the best hour of recorded comedy of all time. Where
That's
everything
fair,
works.
yeah.
It's just.
Oh, yeah.
And he was 22.
He was 22.
He was 22.
Wow. Doesn't that make you feel like a piece of crap?
Dude, all the time. Well, even like Chappelle. Dave Chappelle
yeah.
is like, he's like 46.
Yeah.
And he's doing comedy for 35 years.
Yeah.
You know?
Wild.
Did you see the new Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee?
No, I haven't watched any of it yet.
First episode is Eddie Murphy.
Yeah.
Eddie Murphy and Jerry Seinfeld started doing comedy the exact same week at the Comedy Cellar in New York City in 1976.
I didn't know that.
43 goddamn years ago.
Wow.
Because Eddie Murphy was 14.
Wow. There were 14?
He was 14.
He was 14.
Jerry Seinfeld was like 18 or 19. He was like...
That's wild. Did you see the Seinfeld, his new Netflix special? It's not new. It's like 2 years old at this point. It like goes back and forth between his stand up and how he got into stand up.
Yeah. I watch it. I like Jerry Seinfeld because I like I think just I'm like probably like a comedy nerd.
Yeah.
I think you are too. I think most comedians are.
Yes.
I love talking about like creating comedy. Like I love talking about like influences and like what's funny and what works.
That's a lot of this podcast.
And your process. I love talking about your process. And Jerry Seinfeld does a lot of that.
Yeah.
And I think that like I grew up with like Eddie Murphy, and I grew up with Richard Pryor.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Then my mom gave me like the vinyl record of like That N-Word's Crazy when I was like 13.
Right.
I had no business having this record, but like, I loved it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But you were learning comedy now.
Yeah. And I'm just like, oh, that's how you do it.
Yeah.
But also though, like I, once I started getting like 14, like Kids in the Hall was huge for me.
Yeah.
All of my like absurdity that I do on stage is all just, okay, that's how I do it.
Yeah.
It's just,
right.
Because that was the first time I ever saw that like was just weird as fuck.
Yeah.
And I just was like, all right, I love this.
Yeah, you love it.
Like,
what? Good.
Oh no, but like, so how about you? Like, what was kind of like your kind of where you kind of were like saw stand up or even sketch comedy? And you're like, this is awesome.
The one that I always say on this podcast was New in Town, Mulaney. That changed comedy for me. The show, and I'm embarrassed by it, but I tell it all the time on here. The show that got me into stand up was Mind of Mencia.
Oh,
it really was, because it was like 5th, 6th, 7th grade.
Mm.
There's like somebody being raunchy and offensive and just awful, and it was like, oh, okay, this is like funny. And then I learned all this other stand up because of Carlos Mencia. Like I say it sometimes. I'm like, that's the most ridiculous thing in the world, but that's, and then like early SNL when I was young too.
Yeah,
definitely.
For sure. Because when I grew up, so. This is show my age a little bit, but in the early days of Comedy Central, they didn't really have any like original programming.
Yes, I knew that.
So lots of like Kids in the Hall reruns.
Yeah.
And then lots of SNL reruns from like the 70s and up.
I knew that, yeah.
But when I was a kid though, I got to enjoy two, I think, great eras of SNL, which was I got to enjoy reruns from the 70s. That was great. But also I got to watch like brand new when it was like Adam Sandler, Rob Schneider, David Spade, Phil Hartman, Kevin Nealon, Norm Macdonald, Ellen Cleghorn. They were just all great.
Right.
Then as I got older, I was like in like early high school. That's when it was like Will Ferrell, Chris Kattan, Daryl Hammond.
Yeah.
Those guys just fucking killing it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like I think that kind of just seeing like how those people worked and realizing like seeing like what worked, what didn't, and why it worked. And I think that
you think you were conscious of that during like while you were watching?
I think it's all right. It's all retrospect. It's all looking back and being like, oh
yeah.
And then I'm sure for you, when you think about like the shows you liked, you be writing a joke and be like, oh, okay, this will actually work.
Yeah.
And, you know what I mean? And you're kind of plugging into those influences when you were younger.
Totally.
You know?
Totally.
But actually, I think a lot of people would be surprised that my probably number 2 behind Eddie Murphy catalyst for like wanting to do stand up was BET Comic View.
Oh, interesting.
So BET Comic View is on BET at like 10 p.m. because it was kind of raunchy.
Yeah.
So it would be on like, they would show it at like 10 to like midnight.
Okay.
Then I'd be like, I don't know, on AIM or something, you know, until 2 in the morning.
Right.
Then it'll come on 2 in the morning again.
Oh,
So
you watch it again.
yeah, and so like, you know, BT Comic View was just like the best place. I think not just for like black comedy, but just for comedy.
Yeah.
But I do think that like, I think people like comics who like aren't black wouldn't watch that because they're like, well, it's not for me. I'm like, it's comedy. It's great. It's for everybody. But like, there was like Ronaldo Ray, who's this like legendary stand-up comedian who at that point was already probably in his 70s at that point. But on Comic View, that's when I saw like Cat Williams and like Tiffany Haddish.
Right.
Tiffany Haddish was like 20 years old.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And Cat Williams, Tiffany Haddish, Gary Owen, Lavelle Crawford, Bruce, Earthquake, Cheryl Underwood.
Yeah.
And they were all on BT Comic View, and I was just sucked fucking in.
Yeah.
Sucked
Why
in,
wouldn't
dude.
you be?
Incredible. You know what I mean? And like I remember Ricky Smiley, who he has a radio show and stuff, you know.
Name, yeah.
But he would do just like just fucking went for it, man. And just like stuff that like, and also things that like would never fly now.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
because like
Age, yeah.
with how the world is super PC now.
Yeah.
But you know, doing stuff like he did a character named Lil Damon that was like, who was like slow.
Yeah.
And he would do that,
Oh,
and then
yeah.
like
Not
he would
quite.
get fucking crucified now for doing that now.
Right. Yeah.
You
You can't
know.
do it.
It was like when you watch like, did you ever go back and watch In Living Color now?
A lot of stuff like
Yeah.
you can't do, like a lot of even 90s movies.
Yeah.
No, you can't.
So
do it.
super problematic. Can't do
Oh
it.
yeah, for sure.
You know, like on In Living Color, Damon Wayans did Handyman, where he was
Yeah.
a fucking handicapped superhero and did like the
Oh
little
my
hand and stuff and the
God.
voice and
Yeah.
everything. And you're just like, Jesus Christ, like
Yeah.
it would never fly.
Oh no, it's
never
not
in a
gonna
million
happen now.
years.
And it shouldn't. Dude, what's been your experience with putting on Real Pittsburgh Stories?
It's been unbelievably surprising.
Yeah, over the last number of years.
Yeah. So it'll be 2 years October, so we've done the first one.
Yeah.
They've all been, other than the first one, they've all been at the arcade, located at 943 Liberty Avenue, downtown Pittsburgh. Not far from the convention center.
It's a great place for comedy.
It's a great place for comedy. It really is. Is that I feel like, which I don't know. Have you ever like produced like your own show, like done it, put it
Yeah.
okay, where like you always think no one's gonna come.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You're like, no one's coming to my fucking show.
Oh yeah, for
you
sure.
know. But like no, like we had the first one at the arcade sold out. That was so fun.
Yeah.
So we had 70 seats filled.
Wow. Good for you, man.
But
That's great.
they've all been doing well, like 50 people or so.
Yeah.
And the crowd's always super fun and like ready to have a good time.
Every crowd
and,
at the
yeah.
arcade seems to be great.
Yeah.
I've never had a bad crowd at
Yeah.
arcade.
But I think it's also like they're coming to see comedy. They're ready for it.
Oh yeah,
you
for
know?
sure.
I remember
It's not surprise comedy. They came to see it.
Yeah. I used to always feel bad for like when you do open mics at like some bar where they they just like put the microphone on a stand in the middle of the bar and like do
Oh
comedy.
yeah, it's the worst.
And
It's
you're-
the absolute
yeah.
worst.
And you're just like, so and you're from Pittsburgh? They're like, shut up, pens are on.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, shut the fuck up.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
I've 100% been told that more than once. Like,
Oh yeah.
one place actually I love because it was like the best example of like an awful comedy environment was Pepper G's in Homestead. Like as soon as you cross the Homestead Grazer Bridge from Squirrel Hill and the Homestead,
Yeah.
he made the left. So you don't go right towards the waterfront, you make a left.
Okay.
It was like the third door and it's called Pepper G's.
Okay.
And there are things that they paid you. So everyone got $20.
Oh wow.
So yeah.
yeah.
Which if for those of you who are in the comedy world, that's a big deal.
Yeah, it's huge.
Like 20
$20
bucks to go do comedy for 5 minutes, sign me up, you know? And it was like that. It was like they just put a microphone on a stand and put it like in the middle of the bar,
yeah.
and it was just mad awkward.
Oh yeah.
But those were some of my best shows of just being
Really?
like, well, because it was just like you have to have this sense of almost like fuck it, just like let's do it.
Right. Oh yeah.
Let's
for
do
sure.
it.
Yeah,
You
you
mean-
have to have a
yeah.
little bit of that mentality.
So you go up and you do your set, and even if someone's going like, you know, someone's going like, shut the fuck up, like you're
Yeah.
just, you know, you gotta be like, no sir, here's one more joke.
Yeah,
And that's
exactly.
you know, but no, when I first started the show, actually, when I first started doing Real Pittsburgh Stories, the thing was actually I didn't really want to book comedians
Oh really?
because I always thought actually the worst people on This Is Not Happening are the comics who go up and then start doing material and not just tell their story.
That's interesting.
You know, just tell your story, man, and make it funny.
Yeah.
But they're like clearly doing like.
Well, comedians should be able to do that well. Though.
Yeah. So, but there was a couple times where I saw the comedians that like did like example, I love Theo Vaughn.
Yeah.
His episode of that show is like not good because
Okay.
he put so much material in his story.
Oh, interesting.
You kept losing what was going on.
Yeah. Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
I guess I haven't seen his.
Yeah, but like I think he's hysterical.
Yeah.
But like, I think that he was just like, well, you know, I'm going to do my comedy bits here, man. Do my shows.
Well, I'll keep that in mind when I do this show.
So I wanted people to like. I really like the name says it all. I wanted people to just tell a real Pittsburgh story. Like, what happened?
Yeah.
I want to know what happened.
That's great.
You know what I mean?
I'm looking forward to it. Man.
Oh yeah, I'm looking forward to having you, man.
Well, thank you very much,
Yeah.
man. So we are at 45. So first of all, thank you very much for doing this.
For sure.
Two, have you listened to an episode whole way through by chance? I don't care. I do not care.
Oh,
but do you
no.
know this question I'm going to ask?
Oh no.
Oh, that's great. That's great.
All right.
Okay, so I started dating my girlfriend Monica about a year and a half ago. Her friends asked me this question on the way into the relationship to like gauge if I was a good guy or not. So I'm going to ask you this question.
Right on. Go for it.
You're at a bar. Night is going poorly. The bartender has been poisoning people's drinks all night. A lot of people dead. There is quicksand in the back, has swallowed up 12 or 13 Asian couples. It's a bad night. It's racist quicksand. But it is also karaoke night. I love your face. It's also karaoke night, and it's your job to save the entire night by song. What song are you singing?
Don't Stop Me Now by Queen.
Oh, you knew it. You already knew it.
Not even
immediately. Why?
Not even a fucking question.
Why? Why this
song? Because that's probably the greatest rock song of all time, and you can't hear a song and not be in a good mood afterwards.
I would agree with that. I would say the same thing about Brandy, You're a Fine Girl.
Oh, right on.
I love that song.
Right on.
That's awesome. Anything else?
Oh, by the way, who sings that song?
Looking Glass.
All right. Okay, I was about to feel so old right now if you know the answer to that question.
No, I did know that because I love that song.
Okay, right on.
Anything else you want to plug? So we got Real Pittsburgh Stories, August 9th, arcade comedy.
Yep. Real Pittsburgh Stories, August 9th at 943 Lippert Avenue at the Arcade Comedy Theater downtown. It's going to be hosted by me, obviously. We're going to have Nate Nolf. We're going to have Kayleigh
Dumas.
Is that how you say her last name?
Kayleigh Dumas.
So Kayleigh Dumas.
And that is how you say her last name.
Okay, thank you very
She
much.
does not like it. Dumas.
Yeah.
Dumas.
So me, Nate Nolf, Kayleigh Dumas. Actually, our only non-comedian is DJ TJ Harris.
That should be
okay?
interesting. I'm
No,
excited.
we actually met. He also does like weddings because I'm also a DJ, so he does wedding stuff too.
Yeah.
And he wrote a book called "The DJ Saved My Wife Tonight." So he's like an author and a DJ and really, really awesome dude. And then again, headliner is the amazing Terry Jones, who just fucking opened for Sinbad.
Yeah,
by the
that's
way,
exciting.
which is insane.
That's exciting.
I was like so happy for him. That's so great.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is really awesome.
Yeah. So
Who's a great guy, by the way.
Yeah.
Terry. Love Terry.
Yeah. Terry Jones is awesome. Terry Jones, he was like, he did one of my first shows I hosted at the Sphinx. So kind of gave my show validity.
Oh, that's awesome.
Just like where people, okay, like this is a real show because Terry's here.
Right.
You know what I mean,
oh, that's awesome.
man, he used to do this bit that I actually laughed to like dry heat. I kind of did like because it was Arnold Schwarzenegger having sex with 50 Cent.
Oh, that's funny.
So it's like him going like, you know, like, yes, son. Yes, son. Yeah. You get the magic stick. Then I guess Arnold is the bottom. So he goes, you stabbing me in the heart.
Oh, God.
And it was just
I got to talk to Terry more.
But yeah, so basically just like, you know, if you ever want to see like me or well Nate's leaving soon, very sad, but me or any other like really Pittsburgh comedians, you know, you can come to Ham Bones on Mondays or Thursdays. You can go to actually Kayleigh's actually hosts a new open mic at 7:30 at the Yard?
The Yard,
at the Yard in Shadyside. So just there's lots of places to see live comedy in Pittsburgh. Come out, see local comedians, support everybody. It's a good time.
It's great.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man. You get to sign us off. You get to say anything you'd like. I've had people say inspirational stuff. People say stupid shit. Say whatever you like.
Well, first of all, you miss 100% shots you don't take. Wayne Gretzky, Michael Scott, Dave Stewart. Okay. I also want to say you catch a lot more flies with honey, but you catch way more honeys being fly. I'm out.
That's great. I love it.
No shirt, no shoes, just the